Faces change, but the danger remains. In Lagos, a shape-shifting trickster preys on the hearts of powerful women, and Adaora is about to learn she's his ultimate target. It began on a humid Friday night in Victoria Island. The city's lights shimmered over the lagoon, and Adaora, the glamorous CEO of a luxury fashion brand, was at an exclusive rooftop party. She was the kind of woman men noticed, tall, elegant, and radiating an aura of mystery. That night, her eyes locked with a stranger leaning casually at the bar. He introduced himself as Tund. He was dark-skinned, tall, with a smile that could melt iron gates. They talked for hours, and Adaora was smitten. Tund claimed to be an entrepreneur who had just returned from London. His words dripped with charm and intelligence. But here's the thing, what Adaora didn't know was that Tund was no ordinary man. He was a shapeshifter, a supernatural trickster who could take any form he desired. And tonight, he had chosen the face of a man Adaora once loved and lost. Tund swept Adaora off her feet within days. He sent her roses every morning, whispered sweet nothings over candlelit dinners, and knew her desires before she voiced them. But something felt strange. Sometimes his eyes seemed a different shade, or his voice deepened unexpectedly. Once, Adaora swore she saw his reflection in a mirror flicker, as if his face momentarily belonged to someone else. She dismissed it as exhaustion. One sultry evening in Lekki, after too much wine, Adaora confessed her darkest secret. She had once been engaged to a man named Chike, who mysteriously disappeared a week before their wedding. Tund's expression tightened, just for a second. He kissed her deeply to distract her, but inside, he was boiling with the knowledge that he had been Chike, at least, for a while. And now, he had returned in a new form, for reasons far darker than love. 3 months into their whirlwind romance, Tund proposed. He did it at a lavish dinner in Eco Hotel, with live saxophone music and champagne flowing. The entire restaurant applauded as Adaora, glowing with joy, said yes. But the next morning, a woman showed up at Adaora's office, slim, light-skinned, with sharp cheekbones and the kind of confidence that filled the room. She introduced herself as Zainab and claimed to be Tund's fiancée. Not ex-fiancée. Current. Adaora, furious, confronted Tund. He laughed softly, saying Zainab was a jealous ex trying to ruin their happiness. He told Adaora to trust him. Against her better judgment, she did. But that night, when Tund went to take a shower, Adaora picked up his phone. There were messages from women all over Lagos, Abuja, even Port Harcourt, each calling him by a different name. And in one voice note, a woman moaned and called him a Chike. Adaora decided to test him. She hired a private investigator, who returned a file that made her blood run cold. Photos showed Tund in different cities, with different women, but the real shock was that in each photo, he looked slightly different. A fuller beard here. Different eye color there. Once, even lighter skin. She confronted him again. This time, he didn't deny it. Instead, Tund's body shimmered like heat waves, and before her eyes, his features morphed into Chike's, the same face she had cried over years ago. You loved me then, he whispered, and you still love me now. I can be anyone you desire. Adaora's heart pounded. He confessed he was a trickster spirit, feeding off love and desire to sustain his powers. Every woman he seduced became part of his energy. But with Adaora, it was different. He claimed he wanted to keep her forever. Before Adaora could respond, Zainab barged in, but she was no helpless lover. She was a priestess from the north, sworn to hunt down supernatural predators like Tond. She revealed that Tond had been seducing powerful women across Nigeria for decades, draining their fortune, health, and sanity before disappearing. Zainab and Adaora formed an uneasy alliance. The plan was simple: lure Tond into a binding ritual disguised as a romantic getaway. They chose a secluded villa in Bedigri, a place rich with ancient spiritual energy. But Tond, sly as ever, suspected a trap. The night before the ritual, he slipped into Adaora's room, shifting into the face of her late father, begging her not to betray him. She broke down in tears. The lines between love, manipulation, and magic blurred until she could no longer tell what was real. And in that confusion, Tond kissed her again. The ritual night arrived. Adaora was trembling, unsure if she wanted to free herself from Tond or run away with him. Zainab began the chants, the air thick with incense. Tond appeared, smiling wickedly. But just as the binding spell was about to take hold, Tond pulled Adaora close and whispered, "I can be the man you've always wanted. One last time, choose me." His body shifted, half Chike, half Tond, a mesmerizing blend of every man she had ever loved. Adaora hesitated. That moment of weakness broke the ritual's power. Tond roared with laughter, transformed into a mist, and vanished into the night. Weeks later, Adaora found herself at another high-profile Lagos party. Across the room, she saw him again, but now he wore the face of a rising Afrobeat star. He winked at her before disappearing into the crowd. She smiled bitterly. The shape-shifting trickster was free, and she wasn't sure she wanted him caught.
Subscribe to the IC247 for more powerful African stories.